Oh shit! Look at that. We're live, boys in America. Welcome to the best hour of your day. Assuming your day is very, very mediocre. This is the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. Today's special guest, Bob Lovinger from FlexBuy. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Bob, I believe that you are our first guest that has been sued by the FTC. So this is very exciting. Up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably be on my tombstone if I ever have one, you know. But yeah, it's a badge of honor. I get well, not really. I mean, it was a horrible time. It was horrible at the time, and
Yeah.
you know, the best advice I ever got at the time was the attorney that was representing me that said, one day you'll look back at this, it'll just be a story, you know.
Right.
And that's true. I mean, I certainly overcame it, and you know, I could do 3 hours just on, you know. Just on that alone, but it's
I'm sure
it was a very complicated situation. I mean, it was an industry that was targeted, you know, by the FTC. I mean, I almost saw it coming. It was almost a self-fulfilling prophecy because
Right.
I just saw it coming, and it was just you know, just one of those things.
I think if you live the kind of life where you being sued by the FTC is just one of many stories, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's certainly this story, you know, the down story of my business life. You know, I mean, it's you know, the hard part was, you know, here was a company I had spent 12 years building, and you know, I had to start my life again. You know, I had to, you know, it was like all of a sudden the thing you're most known for, you know, I couldn't do, and I was, you know, if you Google me, it was like a disaster at the time. You know, so. It was hard, you know, and I couldn't tell my side of the story very well, you know, because, you know, the one thing the FTC does do is they're good at publicity, you know. So it was definitely a hard time, you know.
But they don't run out of money.
They don't
run out of money, and it's something you know, I'm a fighter by nature, and you know, so you know, my first instinct was I got to fight this. We didn't do anything wrong. Well, you know, listen, every business does something wrong that the FTC can you know, you go to any ad, you know, any website, there's probably some claim on there that somebody's making that they can't substantiate. But you know, we were in business 12 years. We had tens of thousands of clients. We had, you know, a great record, and we were targeted because of the industry we're in, and we were perceived to be one of the big players in that industry. And I wanted to fight it, but you know, the attorney said, "Well, you have $1 million for starters." I said, I don't have $1 million. And then you know, the more research I did, I said, you know, the only company that I ever found that you know, successfully went up against the FTC and won was Amway. And you know, I mean, I don't have the resources of Amway. I know how this ends. I know how other people in this industry in that industry that was sued by the FTC that tried to fight it a little bit happened. I mean, they trashed them. I mean, they left them with underwear. I mean, it was like really bad. So you know, it was just sad. I mean, the sad part was my, you know, employees lost their jobs, and you know, and my clients who never lost a dime up until, you know, while working with me. Once the FTC took over and got their, you know, their accountants in there and everybody else, they got pennies on the dollar back. They would have gotten 100% back if they stayed with me, you know. So. It's just a crazy story, but
all right, well, we'll get into more of your story after the news. But I think so. We're trying to turn the show more into a Jerry Springer thing. I think eventually, because that's what they like, America.
Sure.
So I think the next time you're on, we should have a member of the FTC, and you guys can fucking go at it.
I have no hard feelings. I didn't have any hard feelings then too. I knew they were just doing their job.
I'm mad on your behalf, so I'll jump in. All right,
I don't
so
have a chair to throw either, so it's okay.
We'll give you an Eric and Rodney chair. That's good.
Okay.
we have merch. All right, Robin, what's in the news?
So if you haven't heard, Snapchat
Hello.
Plus now has over 4 million users. So I don't know how big you guys are on things like Snapchat and OnlyFans, but there's a group out there of people that are called simps, which is short for simpletons. And these are the kinds of people who throw money at women in exchange for attention and pictures. It's quite sad, but since Twitch and OnlyFans got big, Snapchat saw a huge market and they decided to tap into it. And now we have this.
Yeah, so it's $3.99 a month. That seems like an awful lot of money to send dick pics, don't you think?
Wait, is that what's happening?
Well, okay, so all of a sudden Snapchat Plus, which I didn't know existed, it's $4 a month. They have 4 million active users. I thought we all decided we're not using Snapchat anymore. Isn't that
I
like
thought Mark Zuckerberg, didn't he buy Snapchat? Does he own that now?
I don't know. Like,
I don't know either. I thought he owned all that stuff now.
We might be too old for this shit. I just thought Snapchat wasn't a thing anymore. Robin, how do you send dick pics? It's still on Snapchat?
But definitely not Snapchat. I know Snapchat's more of a Western thing. Like, we don't have it so much in Asia.
Oh, really? So honestly,
Like,
if you
our dick pics are
obviously-
straight through WhatsApp or Messenger.
Oh, WhatsApp. That's how you do it. WhatsApp plus.
Yeah. Or
Nice.
the most popular one here is Viber and Telegram, most likely.
That's your Snapchat? Does it have silly filters? Can you put a dog nose on it?
It's not that sophisticated.
Can you have
but
floppy
it's-
ears?
This is outperforming the blue check mark that Elon Musk came up with in a delusional fever dream, which is just fascinating to me. That like, do you guys have Snapchat? Anyone? Bob?
No.
No Snapchat for you?
No Snapchat for me. I mean, I don't understand the concept of paying for social media. I mean, I just don't understand that, you know. But I guess they're all toying with that model, saying, I wish I could actually make money off of subscribers, you know.
Yeah. You know, so my daughter loves the filters. The filters are cute, right? When you put them out, like the dog ears and everything else. It's just so the dichotomy between like how adorable, like my 2-year-old like giggling, and then she has no idea the horror that's going on Snapchat. Is the worst. I mean, it was it's a platform meant for sending nudes, right? I mean, is it not?
Of course. I mean, like the idea why Snapchat got so popular is because chats get deleted like after a couple of hours. So like it's a great opportunity for people to like be sneaky with pictures and like sending nudes and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
all
the
about the filters. My ass. Don't they all have?
Yeah, I mean, every platform has filters at this
Facebook
point. Right?
chat has filters. Doesn't have a disappearing feature though. Although Instagram does. Just so you guys know, if you want to start sending on that, there's a vanish feature. I've read, so I've heard from people that are nothing like me. All right, I got nothing else on Snapchat. I just thought it was dead, but evidently
It lives on.
What's next,
Rob? Okay, so this is something we can all relate to. Unless we have any Android users here. Do we?
No.
Or we're all iPhones here?
No, we all have jobs.
Okay.
We have normal phones.
That's a cold
Government
gross.
handout Android phones. Go ahead. What?
Yeah. Okay, so Apple is now soaring for a new target, and that target is $3 trillion. So Apple shares are still viewed as a very safe stock, and this year alone, they've risen by 46%. If you want to know how big that is, that's $900 billion. So, anyone going to buy the new iPhone 15? I feel like they're just running out of ideas.
I'm not a first adapter, you know. I wait, you know, but you know, when it comes to, but it's impressive because considering there's only 7 countries that have a GDP higher than $3 trillion, you know, I think.
No shit, right?
I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, it's a pretty brilliant model Apple has. I mean, talk about the stickiness. I mean, it's, you know, there's a whole generation of people that once they get an Apple and buy into the whole, you know, all the apps and everything else are never going to leave. No matter what happens, they're never going to leave. And, you know, my son is one of these anti-iPhone, you know, people. And, you know, he keeps on saying, oh, this is better. Yeah, but everything is on my Apple. You know, everything is on, you know.
No, the anti-Apple people are so weird. It's such a weird hill to die on. Just use the better shit and shut up. Like, no one thinks you're special because you have an Android.
Wait.
Well, because Apple used, you know, eight-year-old kids to build their, you know, apples. I think that was the. You know.
I had a friend of mine who actually was a programmer, and I remember one time he says to me, he's like, "I'm going to build my own phone," and he ordered like some 4x4 or some kind of phone that you have to build and this and that.
Yeah.
And he kept telling me how good it was and this and going on, and it was like, come on, man. Like enough, right? Or you used to see the guys like the IT guys and they're walking around talking and you're like, dude, you're using a BlackBerry. They're like, I'm running Lenovo on it. Who cares?
To be fair, to like defend these guys.
Did you guys see the BlackBerry movie, by the way?
No, but I heard it was good.
Oh my God, it is so good. The BlackBerry movie. Who would think that it was that they can make a movie out of that? I mean, it was, you know, the story is just unbelievable.
Well, speaking of child labor, did you see the Nike movie, Air? That was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't touch on the child labor somehow. That part got skipped over, but yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's the sequel.
Matt Damon plays a child laborer. Oddly enough, that segues into another story. I don't know if we want to move on, but I do like that Apple shames non-iPhone users by having a different color chat box pop up. It's like, so you know which of your friends can't afford an iPhone. Robin, what were you going to say?
That's very sad. No, I mean, like in the defense of like Android users, I think the main reason why they refuse to use Apple is because of like the inhumane working conditions in Apple factories.
Well, are
They
they
have
not
to
wearing
build
Nikes?
suicide nets
Are they all
because the workers keep
vegetarians?
jumping off.
Listen, capitalism comes at a cost, and it's usually
Yeah.
young children, but not Americans. So who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
Listen, I live in Florida, and they're about to lose 40% of the agricultural workers because of new immigration law, anti-immigration laws. So they may have to pass children labor laws here to fill the gaps.
The anti-immigration thing, just like, okay, I understand if you're racist and you don't want anybody that's not white here. I mean, I don't understand it, but I understand that you're racist. But why, like, we don't want these jobs. They're always crying about immigrants coming over and taking our jobs. They're taking all the good strawberry picking jobs. That's what you want. Well,
Are your kids gonna go to the orange groves and start picking those oranges? Because somebody's got to do it.
The good strawberry picking jobs.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, Arizona tried it, right? And then what ended up happening is they ended up putting signs at the border asking them to come back in, because they didn't have enough workers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've read all these stories about all these farms that have the fucking shit dropping off the thing. Like, there's just rotting food everywhere because we don't have anybody to pick it. We're white people are not going to do these jobs. I'm not passing judgment. We're not going to do it. So somebody wants to do it.
There's a job shortage in this country anyway. I mean, really, there's a big job shortage. I mean, it's what COVID did is COVID had a lot of people thinking about whether they want to work or not. And a lot of people decided, no, they don't want to work. There's a big job shortage, and this doesn't help. And it's all red meat, right? It's all red meat politics. I could outdo you as far as how badly I treat immigrants. That's
it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But everybody loves the Statue of Liberty, right? We love that we're the shining beacon on the hill. We talk about how great we are all the time. And people go, hey, can I come? We're like, absolutely not.
Get out.
That's so 1990s, Eric. I mean, that's not
Sorry.
today.
That was when I peaked. I peaked in high school, and that was
Shut the door,
right? I'm frozen in time.
Yeah.
Do you want to segue this right into the next child labor story? Or do you have something else on this?
Yeah, I would. No, I just wanted to say, like, still my favorite thing that Eric Ryan has said so far is, like, if a foreign family floats to America on a door and steals your job.
Yeah. So the point is, like, you're taking our jobs. Somebody floats over here on a door with a, 1986 Chicago Bears hat. It doesn't speak the language and takes your job. Your job wasn't that fucking good. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the other thing, too, like, to touch on that more, right, is that what skills did you have?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right? I mean, like I know people always say they're here to take the jobs. Like everybody I ever met in the city who was an Uber driver or a cab driver that was from another country always was a brain surgeon, an astronaut, whatever it was from their other country, right? But, and maybe they were, right? I'm not saying they weren't, but they were at least here working.
Yeah.
Right? Where,
Well, but those stories are true, and and that makes you how bad must it be in these other countries that these people
to come here,
come here and do menial work when they could be doing something else. I mean, that was my grandfather's story. My grandfather, I mean, this was years ago, obviously, but he was an accountant, and because of communism and everything else, they came to America, and he couldn't even get a job, the option wasn't to stay. The option, it wasn't an option.
But at least they're working. You know what I mean? We have people here that are born here that just sitting around.
This is one of the many problems I have with Republican ideology in general, just as a blanket thing. We love capitalism, right? Capitalism is the greatest thing in the world, greatest economic system. Yeah. Socialism is the worst thing in the world, right? Well, a big part of capitalism is exploiting cheap labor. So if there's a populist who will do the job for less than you will, that is a fundamental tenet of the thing that you fucking love. So shut up. This is capitalism. Congratulations. You love it. You want it. You got it. Go away. You know what I'm saying?
Also, Eric, what's that floating door made out of? The Ocean Gate CEO wants to know. Sorry, was that too soon?
I think styrofoam works, right?
Styrofoam, styrofoam door.
They're still offering. I was reading somewhere that the thing's still up to go on one of those, the site or whatever.
Yeah. It's the thing too. A lot of like doctors are Indians. Like my doctor's an Indian. Fucking love them. And hillbillies in Appalachia, like they're taking all the jobs. Oh, are you a neuroscientist and you just can't crack through because there's too many Indians? Shut up.
Yeah.
All right, what's the other child labor? We're touching on a
lot of child labor.
This is actually a great segue. So get this: a Alabama mother was shocked to find out that her son's lemonade stand was under investigation in the state labor department. So this kid's motive was just to run a lemonade stand so that he could hustle some money and take a trip to Disneyland. The government's response: screw Disneyland. You're a child, and selling lemonade is child labor. So I mean, the mother could have just taken her to Disneyland, but in her defense, she was trying to teach her son some interpersonal skills at a young age, how to handle money, how to offer a useful service. Where do you guys stand on the story?
I don't know, how much money did the kid make?
Oh, it got shut down right away. So here's the thing: the kid goes, "I want to go to Disney." The mother's like, "Absolutely, just you got to make some money." She goes, "You know what? I'm going to help you." She made a nice little flyer here. Cam's hiring. This is for the lemonade stand. Wait,
this is him? Oh, this is cute. Yeah. Okay. This is cool.
Cam. Yeah. You're never going to believe that this happened to a black family in Alabama. That probably has nothing to do with it.
No.
Okay, I missed that part.
Yeah. So the mother jumps in. She helps him out. Right. 2 kids is trying to teach the kid entrepreneurship, and he gets shut down. Unbelievable.
Well, the most shocking part of this story, to me, is that it didn't happen in Florida, and but if it was Florida, somebody would have shot them and claimed, that they were standing their ground. So
you can't start a business on my lawn, and then they shoot them.
Yeah.
Well, in New York, they would have fined them to death because they didn't have a license.
That's true.
That's true.
Robin, just to give you an insight into the United States, so far this year, 332 mass shootings, 0 regulation, 1 lemonade stand shut down right away. These are the real issues.
Priorities.
Listen,
You know where I think this whole thing went wrong is that Cam didn't have a bag of money.
If Cam had,
If he was like, here's a couple of thousand.
Well, if you let this kid get away with it, what happens next? I mean,
all of a sudden there's an
some Girl Scout girl is going to want to make money selling cookies. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it could really, this thing could really spiral.
Yeah.
That thing is an outrage. Would you like to guess? So this is my favorite game to play when we do Fox News stories. How many comments down in the comment section before they blame liberals?
The first one.
This lasted to number 2. They blamed. Hold on. I took a picture of it with my phone because it's one of the better ones. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves for 1 second. So the second comment down, the guy goes, Democrats, thumbs down emoji. This family was more likely reported by Democrats who don't understand the social value of work. The second comment.
Is that Democrats in general or right?
This is just classic Democrats shutting down lemonade stands. It's, hey, listen, everybody knows how much Democrats hate lemonade.
And this was the Lemonade Enforcement Task Force? Or Lemonade Task Force.
Everybody knows them. They're brutal. They carry AR-15s. I don't know what else to say about this besides it's very, very sad. I just really
silliness.
You're going to enforce that? Like you get this call and you don't go the fuck away. What are you doing? So you get this call.
That's been a very slow day.
No kidding. Oh my God.
If someone called me with that and they were like, "You need to check into this," I'd be, I already looked into it. It's way beyond our pay grade. These guys are really. This is El Chapo level stuff here. I can't.
You can't.
That's right, though.
You just can't.
You're going to prison with lemonade, Timmy. Get his friends. Right? Could you imagine,
get the 2 greeters?
Like how much you feel about yourself, right? You're like, I tell you what I did today.
Yeah.
I dashed his kid's hopes of going to Disney World, and I got rid of his friends too. You're not going to be any working around here. Get out of here. Get out.
I crushed some kid's hopes and dreams. Thank God. She probably called on an Android. Those are the kind of people.
Karen called from the Android.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. What else we got? Oh yeah, your most you love this story.
Wait, is this the one? No, this isn't the Kevin Spacey one. There's still one more.
Oh, we have another one? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is also quite embarrassing. But I think there's some good points to touch on. There was a Californian social media influencer, and apparently she falsely accused a Latino couple for trying to kidnap her children. So after they did a thorough investigation, they found out the truth to be very contradicting. The story does have a happy ending, at least, because this influencer at least received 3 months of jail time for the false accusations. Now, I do think the justice system could improve on false accusations. Like, there's so many cases if a person falsely accuses of rape, hundreds of cases where these people had to spend years in prison, and then they find out that they're not even guilty, and then the accuser gets off scot-free. So, like, why is the American justice system so poor?
First of all, this show has ruined you because now you're bringing rape into these stories, which, listen, I like it, causes controversy, but you were a different person than you were 5 weeks ago. You would have never
really
brought
was.
I have to talk the truth.
Second of all, we are an abomination. But she got 3 months, but she's only serving 30 days in prison because she's got the rest is work release. But let me show you why. Look at blonde-haired, blue-eyed criminal lady. What is this shit that they do for social media purposes, these pranks and this stuff, it has to be punishable by death. You cannot just blame, say, a Mexican couple tried to kidnap your children, and they investigated the Mexican couple, which means that they had to go through the process of being interrogated for a crime they didn't commit, an awful crime, by the way, that she didn't accuse them of stealing. She accused them of fucking
hire a lawyer. How much did it cost them to probably defend themselves?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then to get that money, they have to sue her. So they need to come up with money. It's a goddamn abomination. Like, what is happening?
And this was this was a prank?
Yeah, it was a prank. Hilarious prank. She wanted more Instagram views. So she went on, I assume this is a still from the video, and went into great detail about how this Mexican couple tried to kidnap her children at a Marshall's or something. It was a Marshall's, right?
Yikes.
And she was specific. She named the Mexican couple.
Yeah, pointed them out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much they
She
were on
doesn't
the
belong
video.
in jail. She belongs in a crazy house.
Listen, you're blonde hair,
or
blue eyes,
drop her off in
you're
Afghanistan.
Oh, just what are you doing? Why are you ruining your own lives, your kids' lives, these Mexican couples' lives? That's gross.
Right.
Terrible.
And she's only getting 90 days. Like, I assume if you
That's
kidnap
terrible.
someone, you get a lot more than 90 days.
Dude, she didn't even serve the 90 days. 60 hour work release. She was in prison for 30 days.
Yikes.
Wow.
And banned from social media. But I don't know if you know this. You can just sign up for another profile with a different email address. So I don't know what banned from social media is really going to do for her. Oy vey.
That's terrible.
It is
Yeah,
terrible.
but a lot of these issues.
We should have horrible human of the week. I think she's the first one.
Yeah.
Now, with the Fox, this is a Fox News story. How many comments down before they blame the liberals?
I'm gonna go with one again.
I'm going to go with 3.
They managed to get, you're closer up. They managed to go 4 down. But the reason it's liberals' fault is because it's like athletes, actors, actresses, musicians, liberal talk show hosts are the reason that people do this thing.
Well, how many comments before somebody said those Mexicans must have deserved it? They're probably illegal.
That was
That was the first 3. Going well.
Yeah.
The audacity for being Mexican in public. Like, how dare they? Obviously, they're guilty of something. Maybe not this. Oh, my God. God bless America. But see, Robin, you live in a monoculture where every kidnapper, same race, right? So not.
Yeah.
And
plus
shoeless.
You can get away with, like,
Oh,
bribes.
no, those are the bandits.
Isn't there an SIC code for kidnappers in there?
If there's not, there should be.
Yeah.
I'm tired of looking at this chick.
The barefoot bandits.
Barefoot bandit, kidnapping bandit.
Is that coming up again?
It's gonna come up. You don't really need to prove the war. Sometimes, guys. You were accused of something. You're white. You're a white lady. You do the accusing, Melissa. That's how this country works. Yeah, exactly. You gotta go through a whole process. Yeah, she needs to pay, baby.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? The last now we can cover your favorite story.
Okay, controversy. Here we come. Kevin Spacey is a sexual bully. This comes from a UK prosecutor, and he has claimed that Spacey is a violent man who sexually assaults other men. This is shocking. He is now being charged with 12 offenses against 4 men. And I'm actually very confused about this. Now I might be late to the party, but Kevin Spacey is gay.
You're very late,
I did
you're
not
very late
know
to the
this.
party.
Yeah, I don't even know if you knew there was a party.
Robin, do me a favor. Think about that question you just asked and look at this picture.
Okay.
I don't want to make light of sexual harassment or anything, but like if this is your sexual bully, I don't know.
Well,
Probably should have taken a karate class or something growing up.
But
Like,
here's the
wonder
thing.
how many-
I thought. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, how many other countries is Kevin Spacey going to do in this tour of
Yeah,
sexual
like Kevin
predators?
Spacey's sexual bullying tour. But I thought, hold on a second, he's a bully now. I thought he was a predator.
I don't know what the line is. It's the first
Yeah.
time I've heard the term sexual bully.
Yeah, I was thinking
I
more
mean,
of a
you know-
predator. When you were reading that, he's going to say sexual predator. We've heard that one 100 times.
In the article, it says something about he's accused of squeezing some guy's penis too hard and it hurt. I'm like, that's not how. You're also bad at sex. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it works, Kevin Spacey. No one wants you to just fucking squeeze.
I mean, the sad part is that the only reason we could even joke about it is because it was, guy on guy, right? If it was guy, if it was a guy on woman, we couldn't joke about it.
We could never cover it, and we probably shouldn't even be doing this. But I mean, there's so little. Like I've said a million times on this show, the only thing that we're allowed to discriminate against sexually now is women with short men. Like you can totally, you could never say, oh no, I would never date an Asian, or no, I don't date black guys. But you go, oh, 5'2", absolutely not. And everyone like, fair. So we have that, and we have a little bit of Kevin Spacey left, but even that's going to go away soon. So we're going to fucking really get it. You know what I mean?
Well, Kevin's had a few trials, right? Remember, he had one. He had one where the person died, right? Did someone die? And then another one. He's had like 3 or 4 trials. He's been busy.
Yeah, no.
They like him in France, though. I think France likes all these sexual predators, right? I mean, Woody Allen's big in France, and
Well, France is Bernie, right?
Roman Polanski lives in France, and so
Jerry Lewis, did he ever do anything? The French love him too. I don't know about his.
Must have done something. Look at Jerry Lewis. Must have done something.
The guy that played the piano. Yeah, I think
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Well, he was a sexual predator too.
Yeah, he was a maniac.
At this point, who isn't a sexual predator? If you're famous. You know who? Tom Hanks, national treasure. Thomas Hanks. As far as I know.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Never touched anybody. He got the shit slapped out of him, but he's as far as I know.
He got touched, but he never touched anyone.
Good reference.
I think that's it for the news. But did you guys want to do a segment on LinkedIn lunatics?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
So yeah. So there's a Reddit page called LinkedIn Lunatics, and I don't know if you guys have ever spent any time on LinkedIn, but it's mostly lunatics. But these are the most unhinged of the shit that's been posted on LinkedIn. This first one, I think Seth Godin is losing his goddamn mind. I used to like him a lot. I don't know if you guys have read any of his books, but I listened to a podcast recently that he was on with Simon Sinek, another lunatic, and it was the most unhinged hour I've ever fucking heard. So he goes, if Nike came out with a hotel, we'd be able to accurately predict what it would look like. If Hyatt came out with sneakers, we'd have no clue. That's because Nike has a brand and Hyatt has a logo. What the fuck are you talking about?
Something really, he really said this? Because this sounds crazy. This sounds like something
I have to read this like
a crazy person would say.
You're like, what? So a Nike hotel, let me guess, you're saying it would have Nike logos all over the place? Yeah, well, what the fuck do you think a Hyatt shoe would have? Its logo on the fucking shoe? Like, what point are you trying to make? It makes no sense.
Well, here's a better question I would say to Seth and our friend John here. I would say, why would Nike be making a hotel?
Right?
Why not?
Yeah.
And then they might just say,
in the shape of a shoe. In the shape of a shoe, right?
Yeah, I really don't understand what the point is. Here's the other thing. I just, for shits and giggles, I looked up their net worth. Nike's worth $31 billion. Hyatt's worth $13 billion. So if you think about it, a lot more people buy Nikes more likely than stay at a Hyatt, like on any given day. So they're right where they need to be. Does Hyatt really need a brand? They're a fucking mid-range hotel.
Does Hyatt score over Marriott for you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, what's worse, Seth Rogen writing this or somebody else?
Well, that's exactly.
Yeah.
So this dumb writes it, and then John goes, "Oh my god, that's brilliant," and then decides to.
And then here's the best part: someone else retweeted it. 23 other people retweeted it, and 2,300 people were like, "That's genius."
Yeah, and I'm telling you, every 71 of these 74 comments goes, "Oh my god, Seth Godin, he's still got it," but no, he's out of his goddamn mind.
Wait, look at the reactions. The second most tapped reaction is like the idea button.
Yeah.
Meaning
No,
they, like,
great ideas.
I'm going to cover it, I guess. Yeah.
So this is
if we came up with some stuff and posted it and it wasn't really Seth.
Oh, we should do that.
Right.
That's the only way we're going to get likes. But
Yeah.
You're gonna get in trouble though.
We talk about this all the time in terms of like being famous in marketing. So like Ogilvy is the Babe Ruth, right? Or the Tom Brady, if you will. I know from New York, so you don't like that. But Seth Godin is like Peyton Manning to Tom Brady, or but he sucks. He sucks. Like, so if we're going to be the most popular marketer, it's not like we're trying to be we're not competing with the Beatles or Led Zeppelin in a rock and roll band. We're competing with lunatics like this. My point is, why aren't we more famous?
Maybe we're not thinking outside the box because this is completely unhinged.
It is. Okay, but this is another thing. So people love this dumb shit, but I'll show you what else they love on LinkedIn. This alpha male ridiculous. So alpha males have main character energy for a reason. I'm not just a main character. I'm the main character. Look at this. If you ask ChatGPT to make a white guy that's really into LinkedIn, this is the image it was.
This guy looks like he wants to sell you a car, a boat, or a house. And he's inviting you in and he's saying, hey, come on in. I want to show you the primary.
Anyone who refers to themselves as an alpha male, their father didn't hug him enough. Like there's some core. You know what I mean?
I recently saw a hat, it's like, make America great again hat, but instead it said make men again. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know that's the newest thing that's going around. Men have stopped being men. I mean,
Jason made a great point, and he also quoted himself.
Yeah, quoting yourself in a.
I didn't even see that. Oh my God, yeah, he did. Jesus Christ. Now I'm just going to go on a limb here, okay? Because I know our friends Jenny Winnie and the Average Dude have something, so I'm going to tell you what this evokes for me, okay?
Oh yeah, like an ink blot test. This is a
like this is like an ink blot test. I'm going to go with douche canoe.
Well, I don't think that's exactly how they do the ink blot portion, but it's close enough.
Well, this is the Eric and Rodney show with Robin ink blot portion.
Exactly. I'd like to put him in a room with Kevin Spacey and see who wins. That should be the punishment. All right. So speaking of the same general theme, I know you like this guy, but this is your boy Alex Hermosi.
Yeah, that's him.
Stop it. I understand like when hot chicks do it on LinkedIn, but like this is egregious. And he's really not deadlifting that much.
No, it's like 30 pounds.
Those are those big fake CrossFit things. I don't think those are 45s.
No, I think they are.
It's in 2012. Is that the best? I mean, that's an old picture.
Yeah, that's old school. Is this the last time he worked out?
This is part of his journey. Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you what's great about him, right? Where he's so smart is he teaches people. He always says this: I teach people how to make businesses and how to scale them to $5 million. He's like, and then because I give away everything for free, when you're ready to really go to the next level where you want to sell it, you come see me.
I got you.
Well, his Gym Launch Secrets is a client of ours. They used our program. I think he's since left. He's no longer. He sold Gym Launch Secrets.
Yeah, he did. He sold it. He sold it for a boatload of money. But yeah, he launched that whole thing. Yeah, not a lot of people know that. That was just huge.
So this kind of thing works. Like we know selfies have a 3-time more engagement than a normal thing. So I've started posting pictures of my daughters and my daughter and pets. I'll get my son in there too. So Robin, I'm going to need you to start doing some shirtless workout things, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
And Rodney, you're going to start getting to stretch on camera. So we're gonna hack this system.
Well, I posted one up of the big guy last night.
With who?
Of half.
Oh, that's right. You did the dog. Yeah. All right.
That's right.
You can do the husky.
Yeah, the husky.
All right.
I
So
have a husky. Yeah.
We have 2 guys really getting into the alpha male thing, but this guy's taking a different approach. So I'm a guy and I have 99% female energy in my life, from my wife to my 3 daughters to 95% of my clients. I appreciate the way women work. I'm a huge supporter of women-owned businesses, and I'm here if you need any brand photography with a hint of male creativity. I don't have much testosterone anymore, so I'm not a threat anyway. Love your brand.
I think that's funny.
I just like how they're 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. Just trying to find.
Who is he trying to appeal to, though? I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, I don't know.
It looks like 2 people.
It's funny.
It looks like two moms in the group he's in.
Yeah, this is the weirdest approach. I have 99% female energy. All right. God bless you.
Then he drops in here if you need any brand photography. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Right?
Humans are out of their goddamn minds. Okay, well, that was fun. But now we're going to get to the guest of honor. All right, so we have a lot to cover because I did listen to a interview you were on, and a lot of interesting shit.
I never listened to it, by the way, so I have no idea what I said.
I
never listened to.
Yes. So. Yeah. I don't like watching myself back either, which is weird because I'm a narcissist. I just like doing this and then letting it exist. I did hear that about you, and I agree. But you're the son of refugees. One of your parents escaped World War II.
Yeah, both. My father's family left Austria, in the midst of the whole Nazi thing, and my father actually lost 2 siblings. I mean, it was horrendous. I mean, and I never knew, the crazy thing about that generation is they didn't want to talk about it too much. I mean, I would grab bits and pieces of my father's story over the years, but I never knew the whole story until I found years later, and he's been gone now 5 or 6 years. Years later, I found an interview he had done with Steven Spielberg has an organization that interviewed, Holocaust survivors. And he told his story, and I learned so much. I mean, it was just crazy. Think about the things. My father was 12 years old, and he was escaping, and he was on a boat, and trying to, in the middle of the night, trying to escape from. I think they were, at that point he was going back to Germany for some. I mean, there's like a zigzag all over Europe, and the boat was in the dark, and all of a sudden they heard there was like one of the German one of the German ships was looking for other boats or whatever, and they had to be totally quiet. And one of the couples on this boat had a baby, and the baby started crying. You can only imagine what they had to do. I mean, my father had to witness this couple throw their baby into the waters just to be able, for survival purposes.
Jesus.
I mean, how do you live? I mean, how do you live with and my father was, a very quiet person. He didn't speak very much, and I mean, he must have been a tortured soul, I would think.
I don't know how you lived through any of that, having seen a fraction of 1%. I mean, it's
yeah. And my mother's family had to escape the communists. I mean, they actually, because after World War II, when Russia it took over everything, they started, taking over these territories, and they were in Romania, and my mother's family all had to escape the communists and journey over here. So. These horrible things happen. That's the reason I'm born. they met each other in the Bronx,
right.
Of all things,
Somehow it's a beautiful American love story. I don't know.
That's the thing. You have to ask yourself, if you could go back in time and undo this stuff. Right. I mean, I probably would, but I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's true.
Really good point.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but I'm the first generation. I'm the first high school graduate. I'm a first generation American, obviously. First high school student graduate, first college graduate. I mean, so it's. I didn't have much role models growing up as far as success. It was my father worked his ass off. But
you said in the other interview you're an unlikely success story, and I think that's true. But you did make it. And one of the other things you said, so you now you work with your kids. Your daughter and son are employed by you.
My son, yeah, they work for me.
But you said that you fired your son 3 times.
I did. It's a maturation process, and I don't fire people easily. I mean, I've done, people stay with me a very long time, but he just wasn't ready for the job, I mean, early on. This was when he was a teenager. And,
okay, he's back now. I was going to say, is he going to reapply?
Yeah.
No, he's 31 years old now.
So he's turned the corner.
My son is great. He's a program. He's my IT developer, so he does everything. He does all the technology stuff here. No, he's great. He's great.
With the accents, it's kind of like Orange County Choppers. Did you guys scream at each other like that meme?
Yeah, no, not really. He's not a screamer, and I'm not a screamer either. For for that. But and my daughter
that show used to be everywhere.
Orange County Choppers.
Yeah, that show was everywhere.
It was awesome.
It like disappeared.
Are they still around? Are they making?
I don't know, but they were everywhere.
So your daughter works there too now, but you've never fired her.
My daughter graduated law school. She's older. She's older than my son, and she graduated law school. And I convinced her. I said, you know what? Don't become a lawyer. Come work for me instead. And the funny thing is, growing up, I told my kids, you could be anything you want in life, just don't be a lawyer. So I mean, that's the only profession. You can You can, you know, you can be a kidnapper, but just don't be a lawyer.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far. So we should probably talk about FlexBuy since you know, it's the business you own. So you want to give us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, basically FlexBuy. I formed FlexBuy was a process, but I formed FlexBuy to basically democratize. That's an overly used word, but I'm going to use it anyway because it fits.
Yeah.
I really wanted to democratize customer financing, right? Because I came into understanding customer financing right after the financial crash, 2010 or so. And there was a big need for us. And, my light bulb went on. I said, you got people whose credit cards have been wiped out. They don't have any spending power anymore. You have businesses that are struggling. Allowing businesses to offer some kind of pay buy now, pay later solution, customer finance solution made all the sense in the world. And then what I found out was there was very little out there for 99% of businesses, right? So the big box stores had financing, doctors' offices had financing, but there was very little out there for every other business. So, I hooked up with a product, and I literally got in my car and started driving door to door and pitching this product. And, first I had to educate people that this was something that they can do. And second, it was, they said, yeah, I mean, I certainly need this, and then what I found out afterwards is the product absolutely sucked. But that's the basis of most great businesses, right? You find a need, and you find something that's not, a need that's not being fulfilled. So I said, if I gotta go on a journey to see if I can find a product I can offer everybody. And I had quite a few iterations of that product over the first number of years, and I stuck with it, because I did see the need, and I really simplified my life at that point. I said I can hold on, and I did, and we finally cracked it. We finally cracked it, and thank goodness. I mean, because we're doing very well.
And this is sort of, I'm sure there's been more acts, but sort of a third act, right? Because you were an engineer for a while, and then that didn't really.
I graduated college to be an engineer, and I was an engineer, and did that for 2.5 years, and found out that I was probably destined to be just a very mediocre engineer. I mean, I wasn't very good at it. And second, I just hated corporate life. I witnessed, I worked for a company that had been around for many years, and I saw they decided they were going to move someplace else, and I saw them, on no notice, bring a box out to an engineer that was there for 25 years and say, "Here, pack up your stuff and leave." And I said, I got to control my own destiny. And I got into the financial world after that, and there's a story, that goes along with that. I watched a late night infomercial about how to buy houses with no money down. I tried to do that, and
was that Carlton Sheets?
No, it wasn't Carlton Sheets. I forgot
who that was, but it was somebody.
He was out at the same time. But I actually went into contract to buy a house, so I actually hooked up with a guy that had a mortgage broker company at the time, and his father, who was an attorney. But the moral of the story was the house burned down before I could actually buy it, because it was one of these houses that it was like a legal 1-family house, like 5 kitchens in it. So it was, but it ended up burning down. But I hooked up with the son and his father, and I got into the mortgage business at that time, and I liked that.
But you did something very, very smart. You started in the thing. You said you paid for $1,000 for an ad, and then was it the Times?
I ended up telling them, listen, I'll advertise. I'll spend $1,000 a week. It was $1,000 a week in the New York Times, and and I started bringing all the business for them. I mean, it was like everything. So ultimately, at the end of the day, they said, you know what? We'll pay. We'll buy the ad, and these will be our leads. And so, listen, that's the way it goes. I mean, it's but listen, everything happens for a reason.
Hold on, now back up. So, what kind of ads were you running?
Yeah.
Just mortgage ads. I mean, at that
like
time,
wanted ads or like ads in the pay. Like what do you mean?
No, ads in the newspaper, just basically saying that we offer mortgages and co-op loans and that type of thing. And nobody was doing it. I mean, nobody was advertising, because remember, there's a different in New York at that time. To be a mortgage broker, you'd have to be an attorney or a licensed real estate agent. Right. So, so there were, and so there were very few companies, very few mortgage brokers, and the whole mortgage broker industry was Citibank, who had a who had a program where you filled out the Citibank application and you dropped it off at a Citibank branch, and that was a mortgage broker, you know. So it was a different environment, but people didn't know what to do as far as mortgages were concerned. You know, there was no internet, so they didn't know how to get mortgages, and so you know, I did well. I did well with that, and I opened up.
I just love that your brilliant idea is, hey, why don't we advertise? And they're like, holy shit, that's crazy, and it worked.
You know, I mean, because you know, remember, this was the head guy was a lawyer, and back then lawyers couldn't advertise. Lawyers were not allowed to advertise.
Yeah.
So advertising was not a thing, you know. So
what a brilliant
and there weren't a lot of I'm telling you, you had the bank ads and but there weren't a lot of broker ads, out there. So not that we became big, and I never became big in the mortgage business. I did well, and the economy, there's a crash, another crash, and but it was fun because it got creative at some points as the market opened up and banks started becoming more of a wild west. You were able to be creative in the mortgage industry, and that's what led to the demise of it actually, because there was like loans of no credit, no income, 125% refinance. If your house is worth 100, we'll give you 125,000. So it's like all kinds
wild shit back then,
all kinds of crazy stuff.
The Wild West.
But the most interesting time was I think it was 1987. Black Monday. I don't know if you guys remember Black Monday, but no, you guys are too young. You probably don't born. But anyway,
Robin wasn't born.
Yeah, but he wasn't born. But anyway, 1987. I mean, it was a total crash of the financial market. October 1987, and I'm in a restaurant. All of a sudden, everybody's beepers are going off. Beepers, that was the thing. Everybody had beepers. Everybody's beepers are going off, and the market had totally crashed, and interest rates went up 2%. In one day. I mean, that was a big deal back then. Yeah. But the interesting part of it was I was in the process of selling my house and buying another one. The people that were buying my house were closing that day.
Oh, Lord.
And I got the mortgage for them. So, and my advice to them was, don't lock in your interest rate because rates have been, they've been stable. You have to pay more to lock in your interest rate. Yeah. That wasn't a very friendly closing, as you can imagine.
No,
they were excited to see you.
That's funny.
I have another question. So I was listening to your podcast in the car this morning, but I was getting coffee at the point where you were talking about you were in the early days of Google. Like you said, like you had too many leads. What was that thing?
I mean, not that I was brilliant at this, but somebody had found me that was very good at lead generation, online lead generation, and.
But this was in the very early. Google had just come out.
I mean, this was 1999, 2000. I mean, this was really, really early on. Yeah. So Yahoo was actually bigger than Google at that time. But there was you had Yahoo, you had a whole bunch of others. But this guy, when Google came out, there was no algorithm at that time. The way, if you did a search, the way you got around it is you created a white background using the words, using the words you wanted to rank for. So I had a boiler room, a sales room, and we were generating so many leads. If my salesperson couldn't pronounce the last name, they'd chuck it in the garbage. I mean, we were just giving them so many leads. It was just crazy. And I mean, the cost was nothing. I mean, but obviously all good things come to an end. And eventually Google got smarter and it became harder and more competitive. But I was one of the early ones to get these leads, and it was very easy at that point.
It's like Gary Vaynerchuk said one time. He's like, they were like, well, how was it when you first started emailing? And he's like, and it's true. Like, he's like, when I used to email people, he's like, they would reply back. And it's funny, when I first started using LinkedIn, people would be like, how do you build your, how do you find clients and stuff? And I would literally just email people on LinkedIn and they would always reply.
Yeah.
Now it's like, there's 200 people in my inbox right now talking to themselves.
But you've hit it like between the advertising when no one else was advertising, the early days of Google. Yeah. I mean, you've really got in at some interesting points.
Ground level.
Yeah, I mean, that on one hand. On the other hand, though, it makes me sad that here I am at a different stage of my business career where I wish I had these tools that I have today back then. I mean, I wish, because I would have done so much more. I mean, it was, the internet was just a baby back then. You couldn't, there was nothing much you could do. It was basically a directory, it was, but but there's exciting times now. There's so many tools available to us. The only thing is, it's hard to find the lane because as soon as something comes out, everybody knows about it now, right? So
instant information, yeah.
I think. Have you considered a daily LinkedIn Live show? I wouldn't do it from 10 a.m. to 11 because we got that locked down.
What? I hate my voice so much. I'm never going to listen to this because I do all kinds of. I do a lot of audios and a lot of videos, and I just can't listen to myself speak. It's just
me too.
It's just too painful.
Interesting. So the other thing you mentioned so your son's more of a quieter type, not into sports, but you're into sports. It sounds like you're a New York guy.
I'm a New York guy.
Can we talk about sports real quick? Because I live.
Yeah, what teams do you like?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I'll put it this way: the last enjoyment I had was 1986 when the Mets won the World Series. My team.
I don't remember who they played in the World Series. So it's inconsequential. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I grew up. I mean, I was a Jets fan.
That's been rough.
What do you think of the team this year for the Mets? I thought Stevie Cohen was going to buy him the championship.
It's a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster. I mean, just goes to show you, it's
they're 800 or 500 or something, right? I mean, they're
15 games. There's 16 games out of.
There was a book written. There was a book written about 1992 Mets called the worst team money can buy. That was 1992 Mets. This team may come close. The only reason it's not sticking out is because San Diego Padres may be even worse. They've been spending more money.
They stole Xander Bogaerts, and he sucks now. That's great.
Bogaerts. They got Juan Soto. They have they have a whole bunch of high paid guys. But it's a disaster. But who knows? It's a very long season, and stranger things have happened.
Stevie said the other day in the news conference, because I watched it, he said things might be up for sale. Not the team, but he might start selling off players.
You have to.
Right? You know what? You take a gamble at a guy like Scherzer and a guy like Verlander, 38 and 40 years old. At some point, the party comes to an end. I mean, I was a big Seaver fan, and people don't stay great forever. That's the problem. You just never know when it's going to happen.
I love when I meet New York fans who have you can't pick who you love. Like it's one of those things serendipitous. I don't know how the Jets and the Mets fell into your lap, but it could have been the Giants and the Yankees, and then you would have been psyched.
Well, as a kid,
the Mets, the Jets, and the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, it was yeah. I mean, but it's like politics, right? I mean, it's like we all, we find our team and we stick with that team no matter what what the deal is. And I've been, I'm actually rooting for the Marlins a little bit this year because they're come out of nowhere, and I'm in Florida, so.
Yeah. With the Patriots, like we had 20 great years, but now I'm reminded again of what it's like to just have a mediocre football team. Like we're going to be,
I don't feel sorry for you.
No, why?
No, I don't.
I hope the Jets come alive this year with Aaron Rodgers.
It's okay. Brady will come out of retirement in 5 years and save the Patriots.
Oh, thank God. I can't wait. We need saving. I think the Patriots have beaten the Jets. I think it's 14 times in a row now, but now there's danger. I think Aaron Rodgers sucks, but he's good enough to win a few games. And one of those is probably going to be against us, which is just going to be.
To be honest, I don't watch football anymore. I mean, it's the whole CTE thing. I feel like I'm watching Gladiator. I mean, it's just knowing that these guys are killing themselves out there. It's just hard for me to watch.
It is, but at the same time, like, what am I going to do on Sundays? Like, pay attention.
You know what I do on Sundays after the football game or before is I like to watch pickleball.
That's a nice.
You're the one.
Yes, you're the one.
That's me.
No, I play tennis, but pickleball is taking over. It's amazing. It's just.
I have a shirt. I got a sticker the other day,
and
it says, "I bought a new paddle the other day." Actually, I'll plug this really quick. And Bread and Butter.
Bread and Butter
pickleball company, right? They sent me this, and they gave me a paddle.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. And they have this sticker, and it says "Tennis sucks." I like tennis. I'm just joking, but. Yeah, pickleball is explosive. I don't want to get off on a tangent. Go ahead.
No, I do. I like that there's a warring faction. It's tennis players and players hate pickleball players, right? Because they're stealing.
I tried pickleball once, and the problem is it hurts my back. You're bent over the whole time. Scraping the. It's a totally different thing. So, but I mean, I'll play tennis as long as I can play tennis.
Tennis is a much harder game. This is what I'll say. Tennis is a much harder game and more strenuous. And when I used to play tennis and when I first started playing pickleball, and you play tennis, you're like, oh, this is like tennis. and you just, I mean, it's just completely different.
Doing this pickleball, you can suck and have fun.
Yes.
Because pickleball, I mean, tennis, it's hard to have fun if you suck.
Right.
I mean,
Tennis, like, exactly. Tennis, you have to know how to play, right?
It's like I used to play racquetball, and I used to think I was pretty good at racquetball, and I used to beat most of the people around me. And then I had a business associate who said he's like really good at racquetball. I said, how much better can he be at racquetball than me? I said, well, let me play you. And I played him, and I got my ass totally kicked because I would hit the ball 12 inches off, up from the wall. He's hitting the ball 1 inch off the wall, So it's like there's different degrees, but as long as you find your level, you can have fun. Pickleball is, it's like ping pong, right? It's you watch those guys on those reels video playing ping pong. It's like that's ping pong. I didn't grow up with that kind of.
Yeah, these guys are like this, it's like spinning off the table. I'm like, I don't even know. Like me, I was just like, like that, and these guys are like, stuff.
Racquetball is ridiculous too, because if you get really good, you don't even move. You just hit it an inch off the ground and then point. I mean, that's not
back in the day, I used to dive all over the court. That's what you did in racquetball.
That's what it's fun, right? Get a hit in the face with a racket.
But I couldn't do that now because if I dived once, I wouldn't be getting up again. That's game over. The game is over.
Get some help, right?
Yeah, that's it.
My favorite sport is bar trivia, which is why I'm a little hungover this morning. We had a huge lead going into the final two questions, and we coughed it away, so we came in second. I'm quite devastated. On top of
is that what you call adult drinking teams?
Yeah. Yes. Nothing I love more than sitting in a restaurant, being served food and drinks, and proving that I'm vaguely smart. I love it.
Do you get smarter as the day goes on, as the game goes on, or do you get dumber as the game goes on?
Oh, I get way dumber. Like I can't because I drink too much. Like I couldn't even tell you the two questions we didn't get right because I can't remember them because I drank it out of my head. And that was like 10 hours ago. It's not good.
Have you guys ever heard about futsal? It probably hasn't hit the States yet, but essentially it's like soccer, but like less boring because the court is like a third the size.
Okay, so they're improving,
which
soccer.
is good.
Is there contact?
Two suckers turning a corner.
Yeah. Well, sports. To be fair, sports hasn't hit the Philippines so well because like our average height is still 5'3". So.
Well, you got to get into basketball. Just lower. It's like I let like my kids have a little basketball thing. Just lower it so you can dunk. Like if it's 6 feet tall, you got a shot, right?
Aren't there a lot of jockeys out of the Philippines though?
Oh yeah,
seriously. Aren't a lot of jockeys Filipino? I think that's. I
think so. Yeah.
The thing.
I'm upset. Like jockeys, so you can't use a midget. You're not supposed to say midget. You can't use a little person. Wouldn't isn't that the?
Wait, I'm still confused why that's a slur.
You guys are getting canceled now. I'm telling you, it's.
This is it.
If they can reach their keyboard to write an email to somebody to complain, we're fine.
Oh God, it's so bad.
They don't like to be called midgets. They like to be called people McNuggets. Did you know that?
Oh.
Hey, Rob, have you ever ridden a horse?
By the way, these comments do not reflect the feelings of Flex By or myself.
Great, you say that. Most
we
people
say all the
forget.
time. What's that?
No, I'm just saying it's great that Bob said that. Most people forget to mention that line.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, he's the first one. We should have everyone read a disclaimer, right?
That's a disclaimer right across the screen, right?
Yeah. So we say all the time, like, it's ironic because I think if we're controversial, it's going to get us an audience. But if we ever have an audience, we're going to get canceled. So like, there's no positive outcome out of this.
And listen, if Joe Rogan is still out there with his gazillion fans, he's.
Well, that's what I keep thinking about. If we can make it on YouTube, they don't kick anybody off. We just read a story the other day that there's monkey torture videos out there. So I mean, that we're not torturing monkeys. So I think we'll be okay.
Mm-mm. No.
I feel like cancel culture is going to be around for like 5 more years. Then it's going to turn a corner and people.
Then it'll get canceled.
Yeah.
You're going to cancel.
Well, yeah.
I always used to say, right, that if it did stay, that eventually enough people will be canceled that they'll be the majority.
Yeah, right.
The canceled people would become the majority.
It's crazy because I'm a pretty liberal guy, but I've been around a while, and I would say something, and my kids are always correcting me. You can't say that anymore. I can't say that. I mean, it's I didn't know. I use the word transvestite. Apparently, you can't say transvestite anymore.
Okay, so you said earlier that one of your parents Romania. So I used the word gypsy in a cold email, and I got in trouble.
Oh, that's a slang. That's a slang.
Yeah,
I had no idea. So I mean, So it's a subset of Romanians, but I thought it just meant like a traveling weirdo. Like I call my sister a gypsy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traveling weirdo.
I actually had a guy do my driveway at my old house, and he told me, he goes, "I'm a gypsy," and I was like, I thought he was messing with me, and I was like, I don't care what you're doing if you can help me out. You know what I mean? And I remember thinking, like, how bizarre is that? What is he talking about? But I didn't care.
Now they call themselves Mormons.
Right now, there's a gypsy little person watching this show, and they are so upset. They're so fucking mad. Just as an aside, I don't see a lot of little people on LinkedIn. I don't think I've ever seen a.
Would that be one of the identifying features? I mean, do you think so?
I think if you showed me profile pictures of 9 normal-sized people and 1 little person, I could pick them up. That's going to be our segment on Monday.
How about real tall people? Do you notice any profiles of really tall people?
That's interesting. I'm not sure. Are we talking Andre the Giant tall or just like
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar type of
That's a good question. What I know from Kareem's face that he's 7 feet tall.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, we're going to find out on Monday. So listen, we've done the hour. Tune in Monday, America. We'll get people's heights based on their LinkedIn profile. Well, thank you for doing the show. That was fun.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Thanks, Bob.
Happy 4th of July weekend.
Same to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, America.